Hi, crafty friends. I'm here today to share a Sherlock Holmes journal with you. I actually am looking forward to doing this flip through. I finished this weeks ago, and I've made several journals since then, and I picked this up today to make the video and realized I'd forgotten all kinds of little things that I had done on it, so we'll explore this together. I love Sherlock Holmes. He was a character that lived beyond his books. Sherlock Holmes is just 56 short stories in 4 novels, and there was a lot of material to work with. I did make myself a small Sherlock, a pocket boho Sherlock, but let's focus. So this is a 9x6 soft covered journal, and this tweed looking, oh, it's so soft, it's almost like got a chenille feel to it, upholstery, and this great woven looking floral ribbon down the spine. Didn't want to make it too girly. It is Sherlock, but he was in the Victorian times, so we can take a little bit of liberty. I love this. I didn't know what to do with this key. 221B Baker Street. That was Sherlock's address. And it was just such a great dangle. I really didn't know what to put it on, and just attached it to a bulldog clip. So that can go on the edge of the cover or inside. Took my favorite flannel. I have patches of this in several blankets and quilts that I've made to make a big pocket, and with a fingerprint and a magnifying glass, and always the great depictions of Sherlock in his smoking jacket. And in the pocket, I have a page. It is the cover page of The Hound of Baskervilles, and I have made it into a pocket with some embroidered, what I thought was a Victorian-looking pattern. I've seen several wallpapers that had those types of swirls, and The Hound of Baskervilles was the third novel, the third book of Sherlock Holmes. It was actually a prequel, and little tags backed with some tea dye, and a movie poster. I think it was a movie, yes, in a story, play, and film by Arthur Conan Doyle. So that is the cover. When I first started making journals, I hoarded this little brown lace. It's absolutely my favorite lace, and I pulled out a little of this to look. I've caught my fringe in it. I'll fix that in a bit. I took out a little of this lace because it's not feminine, but it's still got that dainty look to it. So. Oh, and a little evidence tag up there, little Tim Holtz. And going inside, I used the Tim Holtz page out of, which set was that in? I think that was in his correspondence notepad, but I wanted the faded British flag on there. And a little pocket with a movie poster for Sherlock, and one of his most popular quotes. This is the first page of the first novel of Sherlock Holmes, and it starts out telling you about Irene Adler. And I would imagine she looked something like that. She was always a bombshell in the movies and the shows that we see with Irene in it. Another one of those fabulous smoking jackets. We balance probabilities and choose the most likely. It is the scientific use of imagination. The map is of the British Islands. Little magnifying glass there. Little smoking pipe. I think they call these Sherlock pipes now. No ghosts need apply. Fabulous drawings from the books, the originals. And this, I also have this printed on a page on the printable journal kit. It's a note from Dr. Watson, letting everyone know that Sherlock is alive and well. And if you're interested in reading that, you can pause it. I will not torture you by reading it back now. Again, with the smoking jacket. And some sari here stitched in. Kind of had that Victorian wallpaper feel to the large leaves and petals that were in their designs. This is the middle of the first signature, where I typically like to do dangly beads out the bottom. If you do them in every signature, they all get. I did that with a journal. Don't do that. You'll have to unbraid them and untangle them like your daughter's jewelry box. Excellent, I cried. Elementary, he said. Sherlock was a chemist. It's funny, this was actually, I think, a cereal ad, and Sherlock's character was not used in a lot of promotions or ads back then. That was a good find. And there is that journal page with Dr. Watson's preface to the last novel. Sherlock played the violin. Dainty little violin charm there. I love finding little snippets of sari that have surprises in it. This had a little bling in that tab. It's so funny when you buy things to go with a detective journal kit or things to go with it. In the modern days, you get cell phones and computers and all of these gadgets. But for the old school Sherlock, you're going with magnifying glasses and pocket watches and the old version of everything. Mycroft, the older brother who worked for the government. I love this quote. You have a grand gift for silence, Watson. It makes you quite invaluable as a companion. Just a collage of various snippets. Some music paper in. It's a page from the first novel, and I think that this is actually there. You guys in London would know, marked wherever Sherlock Holmes' flat would have been. And you can go visit it. I'm not up on the details of that. I'd love to see it if I was over there. Conan Doyle said, "If in 100 years I am only known as the man who invented Sherlock Holmes, then I will have considered my life a failure." He wanted to explore so many other things. And after the first two novels with the short stories in it, the author actually killed off Sherlock Holmes, and he was forced to bring him back later. This is a series of pages that I took out of a biography on Arthur Conan Doyle. I'm back. My kitty cats were fighting in the next room. This was from the biography of Arthur Conan Doyle, and I took this chapter out. The book, speak Liz, the book was a series of letters that he wrote mostly to Mary Doyle, his mother. The author wrote to his mother all the time. And in the series of letters, he's talking about his life and how things are going. And then he starts talking about Dr. Bell, Dr. Joseph Bell. And he was a doctor. Dr. Bell was from Scotland, in Scotland, and Arthur Conan Doyle studied under him. And Conan Doyle said that he modeled Sherlock Holmes after Dr. Joseph Bell for his reasons for his ability to do deductive reasoning, logic backwards. And it's just wonderful how he explains this all to his mother in these letters, much better than I'm explaining it to you. So I thought that if any of the letters were going to be included in this, that would be great. So it just sticks right in there. And various photographs from movies. In A Study in Scarlet, Dr. Watson summarizes a list of Sherlock Holmes' strengths and weaknesses, and it is hilarious. Knowledge of literature, nil. Knowledge of philosophy, nil. And it goes on. Knowledge of botany, variable. And it goes on. It is really cute. The little banners are just pages off of Sherlock Holmes, cut into the little shapes there. And there is Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. There is nothing more deceptive than an obvious fact. Another page, the picture printed in it when they were up on Reichenbeck Falls. I love this old vintage tassels. Worked well in this journal. This is one of the pages from my printable, and on it, it has all of the Sherlock Holmes stories in the 4 novels. He wrote the 2. At the end of the second, he killed off Sherlock Holmes. They finally convinced him to come back and revive Sherlock. So the 3rd one was Hound of the Baskervilles, but as I understand, that is the prequel to all of these. I've never read them in order, so I had to study up on this. And then he came back in this last group of stories and explained what had really happened at Reichenbeck Falls from the final problem where he died and how he was brought back to life and such. So had these around forever. I always forget. I have a hole punch. You can put something in it, and I put a fingerprint in there. Holmes and Watson. Life is infinitely stranger than anything which the mind of man could invent. Another page from a novel. It's so interesting to see the different ways that he was drawn at different times. I have not found this as a quote in a book, but I know they said it about him, and in most movies it may be in there. If any of you guys happen to know where that phrase, "the game is afoot," comes from, do let me know, chime in. And I put some mathematical computations here, since Holmes did a lot of that, especially with his chemistry endeavors. The old school police officer shining his flashlight on the gun. Little ruffle here. You cannot see the lettuce and the dressing without suspecting a salad. Love that purple tint on the smoking jacket. I wouldn't have thought to work purple into Sherlock. There's a little charm with some keys. And a little background on the author from the biography, the Book of Letters. Interesting stuff. Oh, what fun. That's right. I made a tail. And these things are so much fun, but they can be bothersome. So I try to always put the long tails on a clip that you could move to something else. And there's the famous scene where Sherlock and Moriarty fell off Reichenbach Falls in Switzerland and supposedly died. Every fairy tale needs a good old-fashioned villain. I think that this one is a movie quote. I wanted to end the world, but I'll settle for ending yours. There's a little tag from the Reichenbach Falls. Education never ends, Watson. It is a series of lessons with the greatest for last. A little burlap hanging off the page there. The costumes were really great on the older versions, movie versions. Just some more quotes. I just had some fun with colors. I went along and I printed the mini Sherlocks and then just picked out anything with a bright red on it and sewed it on. Had some little cards here. I'm going to pronounce this wrong. I'm guessing it's Diogenes Club, was the gentleman's club that Mycroft Holmes, Sherlock's older brother, helped found. It was a little too highbrow for Sherlock. And again, another charm, didn't know quite where to put it. This is a magnifying glass, and on it, it says 221B Baker Street, London. But you can't see it unless it's against something white or light. But I had to include it because, you know. And the last page. And then in the pocket here, yeah, there's a little mini Sherlock Holmes journal. Stay curious, and the little detective charm. And what I did was I took one of the popular Adventure of Sherlock Holmes covers, which had a black printed thing there. And then I took a picture off another book that I really liked, one of the original ones, and I put the image on that. It's just a small book. And tea-dyed pages and some textiles in it. Nothing too fancy. But every detective should have a little notebook. So there we are. And that's the big Sherlock. And then I have had so much fun making pocket boho size ones for me. There are so many journal themes that I've done that I wished I'd kept one or made myself a small one. So I have just piled up all my little charms there. And it's very similar to the other one inside. And little dangles. So I've been so busy lately. I appreciate everybody's notes and well wishes. My mama is staying with us for now, and I find it much easier to work on journals than to get these videos done. I should have Monet along soon, and just going to keep plowing through it. And one of these days I will get that course filmed. But I hope everyone is doing well. Springtime's right around the corner, so keep your chin up, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.